When someone says New England defense, what comes to your mind?
Multiple fronts, multiple coverages. A group that plays well within their scheme. They don't go overboard with anything. They're very confident in what they do. Attack style, aggressive up front. They got another tremendous front six, front seven guys in there, and they'll mix their fronts. It's a week by week game plan for them.
And yet last year you guys had a lot of success against them. And did you execute that game plan about as well as?
And there were some things we did. We executed our game plan pretty well that day. Of course, it takes three phases, as you know. Defense played extremely well against Tom, and but offensively, yeah. I mean, we executed ours well. We also showed them some different looks, I think, than what they had seen from us or from any other team previous. It was earlier in the season, but. Yeah, those are things that you kind of have to do against a team like this. Is just because they're going to keep it mixed up. I think offensively, it's a challenge for us to kind of keep it mixed up as well.
Doug, how did your interview go in Philadelphia?
Gosh, it went great. It was a great opportunity to see Howie again and Mr. Lurie, and just a chance to talk with them and sit down with them. And again, it's got a lot of respect for the organization and what they're doing there. But now we're focused on New England, and that's behind me and moving forward.
Is it easy for you to compartmentalize that and everything else?
It is, because we have a big game this week. You never know what's going to happen in those situations. It's an honor, obviously, to be in the running, I guess, with something like that. But I was also sitting there towards the end of the interview going, I got the New England Patriots to look at, so it was a lot easier to come back and start game planning.
Where did they leave things with you?
Still open, still open. They're still in the process of, they have, from what I'm hearing, they have stopped all their interviews, and now it's just a matter of just them getting together collectively and making a decision.
Did they schedule a second interview with you?
Not yet.
Your time under Andy Reid, obviously, how much does that help you prepare potentially for a head coaching job?
Tremendous. He's a great mentor of mine, obviously, and as you know, and we worked together. I worked for him there in Philadelphia, so I understand that market and that climate and that structure there. And so the things I've learned from Coach Reid, wherever, if it's in my future to become a head coach, then there's a lot of great examples of him leading a team and an organization that I can use in my future as well.
When you look at their
How?
Do you prepare without Jeremy?
Well, it's like any other position. I mean, the next guy steps up, and we just have to, we did it in the second half of the game the other day, and our young receivers did an outstanding job, and we just go forward that way, and we'll see what happens later in the week. But next man has to step up. We lean on Chris Conley a little bit more and ask him to fulfill that role.
Couple more, guys.
with young guys, is it sometimes better when they're thrown into it like Conley was in that one, where they don't have all week to think about it like he does this week?
Well, Chris has played a lot for us too, so he's got some valuable experience. And then we moved him around in certain packages during the week, and so he's comfortable that way. But I think sometimes it is better just to go play, and you're not worried about everything that's out there. You're kind of focused in on your job, and I think sometimes it can help and benefit a player that way.
Doug, now that you've done some play calling this season for the Chiefs, what are some of the differences between being a play caller, or at least a guy running the offense as a quarterback, versus doing it from the sidelines as a coach?
Well, obviously as a play caller, you kind of put yourself in that quarterback position, and you obviously understand what the defense is trying to do and some of their tendencies and all of that. And as you get into the flow of the game, that's just how you end up calling. It's all based on situational football. But for me, as a former quarterback, I put myself in Alex's shoes and see what he's seeing, and then call plays based on what we're all kind of collectively seeing at during that time of the game.
Doug, you guys have had big beef on your bench, but your offensive line this year a bunch of times, and running back as well. Do you feel like you guys would be where you are without the depth at those two spots?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but we were fortunate to have the depth, and that's something that because they had. I think those guys were great on special teams throughout training camp and earlier in the season, and I know Coach Tobe likes that running back position and tight end position, on special teams quite a bit, and Obviously to lose a player like Jamal, you never know what's going to happen behind you. Now, Niall Davis was the only sort of veteran guy that we had with any kind of game experience. So, and we didn't really understand what we had yet in Sharkandrick and Spencer. But, those two guys, and those three, because Niall's played here recently too. It's a great collaborative effort by all of those guys. Great job by Eric Bieniemy, getting them coached up each week, and we're just fortunate that we kept all those guys.
Yeah, coming out of camp or heading into the season, did you feel pretty good about those thoughts if you were going to have some injuries, or is this
Yeah.
a revelation?
No, we felt comfortable. Obviously, when you get down to your 53 and coach, John Dorsey and coach, they do the final roster cuts, and you see who's on your team. You're very comfortable with those positions, and you're going to coach up whoever's there. But we were fortunate to have guys that had a great preseason and were worthy of the opportunity.